Tim Kidwell. All right. Exciting. I think we are about ready to begin. Yeah? Are you guys ready? All right. We are ready. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is super exciting. I am Rachel Patterson. I am the director of Acting Studio Chicago. And I'm very pleased to welcome you to our second ASC webinar, Jammy Jams, where the host and panelists chat in their jammies. I'm really excited. I'm grateful that you, Mickie Paskal and Donna Simon and Nik Whitcomb have taken the time to join us, to join Adria Dawn and myself. So thank you for your time. For those of you who have been asking, I can tell you that our current session resumed online last weekend. It's going well. And our next term, which will be fully online, begins May 17th. So check it out. Keep training, keep creating, and keep safe, everybody. So now I'm gonna pass the virtual mic to Ms. Adria Dawn. All right, I'm excited to watch. Have fun.
Yay! Awesome, thank you, Rachel. Okay, everybody, so this episode is called Keeping Your Power in the Audition Room and Kicking Self-Sabotage in the Butt. Or as I like to say, in the booty. Whichever way you want to say it, this is a great topic right now. So I've got three jammy-clad industry folks with me. I'll give you guys a little bit of intro, and then we're just going to get this thing going, okay? First off, I have Mickie Paskal. She is the casting director at PR Paskal Rudnicki Casting. You guys out there might have auditioned for her for shows like Work in Progress, Fargo, Southside, Station 11, Chicago 7, Widows. I could just keep on going. Her office has been around for decades, and we are just so thrilled to have you, Mickie. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I've also got the amazing Nik Whitcomb in fabulous bedtime attire. Thank you. Nik, the multi-hyphenate in me appreciates the multi-hyphenate in you. You are an actor, a director, a casting director, a casting associate with Mickie at PR. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! And last but definitely not least, we've got agent Donna Simon Dunn. She is all jammied out. Donna is an agent at Grossman Jack. She's been there since 2013. Before that, she was with Aria. She's been an agent since 2007, you guys. She has tons of experience, tons of expertise working with actors, and we are so happy that you are joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Okay, gang, just like last time, I'm going to do a quick reminder that when you want to give me your questions during the Q&A live portion of this event, I just need you to go and put the questions in the Q&A section. If you put them in the chat section, then you guys will just be chatting with each other, which you can do that too. I hope you do chat. But questions go in the Q&A, okay? Okay, great. Okay, so with the times we're in right now, you guys, it seems especially important for actors to try to find ways to combat self-sabotage. I don't know about you, but those negative thoughts could just be magnifying, and we want to keep those at bay. Mickie, what do you think actors can be doing to avoid self-sabotage during the pandemic?
Well, I think the most important way I can begin to answer that question is to say that we operate as your teammates. We operate as the people that have invited you into our party. So I'm hoping that if I can convey nothing, and I'm so nervous right now, I'm so sorry, I've kind of lost my ability to speak. This is why I do what I do and not what you guys do. But I think if I can convey one thing during this process, it's that you will never accidentally end up in our room, in our studio. You are in our studio, you are in our space because we have invited you, we have vetted you, we have thought about you, we have argued about you. Nik and I have gone back and forth about who out of the 700 people we want to see while you're there. So just kind of hold that power when you come into the room. You will do things, and it comes from a good place, and it comes from a place because what you do is vulnerable, where you will let me know why you do not want the job. So I will try to tell you why I want you to have the job, and you will try to sabotage your way out of getting the job. And that could be because you didn't have time with the material, you didn't look at the second scene, you teched last night and you're exhausted. Myriad reasons why that might happen.
Okay, great. Donna, I know a lot of actors are wondering what is the proper protocol on how to approach agents during this time. Can you talk about that? Maybe Nik too, from your casting perspective?
I think that's a super great question. And I think you probably want to stay, if your agents are still lucky enough to be working, like I'm every day looking for opportunities. There's still self-tapes being accepted places. Now, I don't know when stuff is actually going to happen, but at least there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel that we're seeing some distant opportunities. What did you ask me originally? Why did I start to tell you that?
Oh, no, yeah, it was all great. Just like how do we approach?
Or how are they staying in touch? I think normally, like humans, I feel like the majority of the interaction that I've had with the actors that I represent since this has all happened has really been kind of an email, how are you doing? What's going on with you? You know, it's a lot more, how are you holding up? Oh, I know this thing about your family. How's that going? I think absolutely, if you've got work that you've done that you want to share with your agents, like any other day, we love to get those links. We love for you to do that. But I think also think about still doing it the way that you would normally do it, unless somebody tells you there's another way to get to us. Like I've been getting some text messages and some weird social media messages where I feel like people aren't sure how to be like, hey, I did this short film. I don't know if you watched it 3 years ago. Here's that link again in my Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I think as you're communicating, just remember to communicate how you always communicate with the people on the team.
Great. And Nik, do you have any like do's and don'ts for reaching out to casting?
Yeah, I guess, you know, we keep it professional. I think is like kind of something that Donna was like talking around. Like we're super friendly and like we like to talk to you. We want to be close and like have the relationship, but like, you know, make sure that now that we're all sitting at home, it's easy to be like, we're all at home anyway, so whatever. So make sure you keep like, I always say to people, as an actor, you're always working. Like, no, and that's kind of like the benefit and like the curse of our job is that like we're consistently always on. We have to be on because you never know who's watching, you never know what's going on, you never know who you're talking to. And so you just want to make sure that you're always presenting yourself in a light that doesn't put you as someone, like you don't want them to be like, oh, that was that person that kept sliding in my DMs during the pandemic. That means messaging me too much on Instagram or Facebook. I don't want that person. But like if it was someone that like, oh, during the pandemic, like they sent me this thing and I watched it and now I found their email again. I remember them fondly and you know what? I am gonna call them in for this thing. Or like, you know what? I am gonna bring them in for that agent audition. Like it's about making sure it's putting yourself first, knowing it's I want you to see my work and meet me, and now is a great time to do so. But also remembering that we're all in a crazy spot. And so just keeping it professional, keeping it cool and not poking too much.
Great. Mickie, any thoughts on how people can reach out to you or how you feel about all of it?
Well, same thing they just said. Yeah, I'm totally down with watching things that people are working on. If you want to email me, I'm happy to take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Okay, so I was kind of nerding out and looking at different definitions of self-sabotage. And one that I found really interesting was self-sabotage is when we say we want something and then we go about making sure it doesn't happen. Mickie, what are some of the like major ways that you just see people sabotaging in the room? You mentioned a couple, but I would say what are the most common? And why do you think it happens? Yeah,
the most common is in that first couple of seconds of vulnerability when you first, and I'm such an asshole. I've been doing this 28 years. That doorknob turns and I'm the jerk that gets excited to see the next person walk in the room. And so when you guys let me know, no, thank you, I cannot tell you what that does to the energy of the room, and I think you guys kind of feel it when it happens. But it's being cautious about risking preparation, right? So you want to say like why it won't be 100% or why you'd like to give away a little bit of your power. A lot of it, I look at when you come in as like confirmation that I've made the right selection, and I think you guys come in looking for landmines that aren't there in the room, but you'll start to kind of look for them. One of my favorite is when I offer a chair.
Oh.
It's not a test. It's not. It is actually just the offer of a chair, but it will cause people to spin. Did other people
really like? Should I use the chair?
Should I? Did I? Where would you like your reader? Would you like your reader on the left of the camera, the right of the? It's another. I think it's perceived as another trick. And I can only tell you, and I'm sure this is true for Donna and for Nik, no tests in the room. You've passed the test. We have vetted you. You are there because we picked you. You're the only one invited into the room. So I think those are the ways that I see it.
Great. And Nik, have you ever seen an actor turn it around in the room? Like start off self-sabotaging and then maybe being able to change the record somehow?
Yeah, I think it happens all the time. And I think, you know, one thing that I love about working at our office specifically, which like all offices are fantastic, but I love our office the best, which is why I work there, is because I think that it can feel very opposing as an actor when you walk into a space, because in your mind you're like, I'm someone that needs a job and this person is going to give me a job. The truth of it is we're not giving you that job. We are also working for someone else that needs us to find people so they can give them the jobs and make the product. And they're working for someone else that's going to look at that footage. So the chain is so long that we're just a piece of it that, like Mickie said, we've invited you into our space because we know that you can do this job. And so I think, you know, sometimes even after the first take where you do the take and we're like, that was awesome. Here are the things that we think about that, like, and shake off whatever energy that is. Like we're here, we're a team, we're working together. And then after that, after people kind of see like, oh, they're watching my work. They see what's happening. Like they want me in the space. We've seen people kind of turn it around, which can be difficult because you don't always get the chance at many casting offices to get that first take out and to have that conversation. Some people want you to walk in off the bat and just do the thing. And so I've seen people get it back, but I think the best thing to do is walk in and have it, which is easier said than done. But like that's what you have to do, because first impression, I mean, it starts from when you walk in the door. We may have a lobby runner, someone in the lobby that's just like going through, making sure everybody's there on time and everything. And even if you are in a huff with that person and not in your right mental space, we have a glass window so we can see you. And two, like that person talks to us. And you may then go into the room and kill it and have been like in the zone, but you already sabotage yourself by being rude when you walked in the building. Yep. So it's thinking about the whole experience as a whole and knowing how to present yourself at all times to, you know, make sure that you're not creating landmines for yourself. Great.
Donna, when actors come in and put themselves on tape for a show you've gotten them an audition for, if you see them self-sabotaging, do you actually try and like help them get out of their way? Is there even time to try and refocus? What are your strategies for that?
You know, I feel like if someone is coming to the agency to be taped in the studio, there's a great, usually they're not getting in their own way, because as long as they're not nervous about being in the studio with one of us, which they shouldn't be, we've got the opportunity to really work with them. And that's a chance too for us to say, I had a conversation with casting. We know that it's a little bit more this direction. You know, we kind of have a chance then, you know, hopefully I've had time to also read the script. I've had time to go through the sides. I've had time to make sure if I don't get something from casting, I'm getting it from them before I'm in the taping room. So I feel like that's a little bit less stressful, but I will say definitely, I think everything Mickie and Nik just said about reminding the actor that we are all rooting for them. Like, you're invited into that room because casting believes that you are a contender to book this role. They do not have time to do favors for people. They don't have time, oh, you just saw Nik last night at a show and he was really nice to you in the lobby. great. He was really nice to you in the lobby. If you're not right for this, you're not coming in the room.
Mhm.
So you've had your wins. You're, like Mickie said, you're invited to the party. And you want to remember that we started talking about being excited for you to show up at the party the minute that we got the breakdown. Like, the fun stuff for us is to get the breakdown from casting and read a role, and all of a sudden, we're screaming in the room, oh my God, well, this is John Smith. This is his part. Mm-hmm. And then we submit John Smith, and then we call PR, and we're like, did you think of John? You thought of John Smith immediately, right? And then we get like this great vibe of excitement. So all of that is happening before you even know that there's an audition. Mm-hmm. So I think it's always telling the actor to remember that if you're given a script and it's a well-written script, any decent actor is going to be able to go through that script and figure out what the beats are and what did this writer intend. Mm-hmm. Casting is bringing you in to find your access point to this character and to bring it to life. Besides what's on the page, what's in between the lines. And you have to trust in an actor, as an actor, that they're really good at their job. And if they invited you in there, it's because they're so excited to see what you're bringing to the table. Because it's just going to make them look good to the people they have to answer to who hired them.
Great. Okay, this is probably a question for Nik. This is from Megan B. Mm-hmm. She says, I'd love to hear the panelists discuss how they combat stage fright, if any of them have ever gotten it before.
Oh, I love stage fright. I think it's important because I feel like if I get to the point where like I'm like, oh, okay, going to do this thing, and I don't have a little bit of a butterfly in my stomach, then like I've probably lost the want or desire to do that thing. So I mean, like Mickie said, like getting on here to talk to folks, like this is nerve wracking. Like we do the thing, but like my belly is like, ooh, because this is exciting and I care a lot about like what we're saying. And I think that, for when I'm in a show, if I'm doing a show on stage, it's different. Once I get on stage and do the thing, then I'm in the show, I'm doing the thing, and I'm like, all right, we're like the machine has started and we're making it go. But what I'm learning, even as I learn more about acting on the TV and film side, is that like no one's rehearsing for you. So you just kind of have to know what you're doing. And so like the stage fright, like it becomes, it's a different feeling of like, it's the engine of like, all right, I have these 4 lines and I'm going to kill it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the best thing they've seen in their entire life because it's all I got. And you may get direction, you may not get direction, like, but you kind of have to like use that fright as energy. Let it go into your performance instead of like making you back away. Be like, all right, I'm feeling this thing. I've acknowledged it. It's there. And that'll help me be on the front of my lines. That'll help me be in the moment. Just use it and transform it.
Great. Excellent. Thank you. Mickie, I have a question from Asmat K. She says, I have very little self-confidence. I signed up for an acting class and I saw myself on camera and did not come back to finish the courses I had signed up for. Watching myself on screen was horrific. I want to be able to build the confidence for myself and for other girls who look like me. Acting is already such a taboo in my culture and family, but it has been such a great outlet for so many difficult times in my life. How can I build confidence so that it exudes in my auditions?
Oh, let me cry. First of all, please don't give up on it. The process is incredibly taxing and it's incredibly vulnerable. I entreat you to understand, again, if you're in my space, it's because I asked for you to be in the space because I'm your teammate. Practice makes frickin' perfect. Also, I think it's important for that specific question. The box that you want to create doesn't exist. There's no box. There's no rule. There's no right. There's no look. There's no nothing that you are going to make it appear for me, right? You're going to give me the environment. You're going to give me the person. You're going to give me your human beingness. That's what hurts and that's what's scary, because if you reveal that, that makes you vulnerable. But I guarantee you, you won't know what you will try to create things that I'm looking for and they don't exist. I'm just looking for you. So keep walking in to my room, to my camera. I will pick up on that passion that you just expressed in that question. I will see it if you trust me. And by the way, to that question as well, it's not just from rolling. that we see you. It's doorknob to doorknob. It's from the time you walk into my room and the time you leave, because as much of my job is about talent, Chicago's talented. Chicago's richly, richly talented. Talent will not win out a lot. What will win out a lot is that you're somebody in my room who I can put in front of someone else in a room. I can put you in front of Hiro Murai. I can put you in front of Ava DuVernay. I can feel comfortable doing that. So it's a giant, giant picture. Don't get rid of any part of that picture in your head. It's not just from rolling when you will feel that fright and stuff. It's the whole room the whole time. So
Great.
tuck that into your head.
Thank you. I'm looking online now, you guys, and I have a question from Tara Hazel W. If someone has a bad day and self-sabotages, would that make you refrain from inviting them back?
No. Before casting answers, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say, we tell actors all the time, these casting directors are good at their job and they know you and they invited you there. So they know a bad day versus a bad actor. And they're always going to give you the grace of a bad day because everybody has bad days.
Great.
And that's part of what's being great about being the casting director is sometimes a producer may see you, you may come in and your callback may be on that bad day. And that's just how it's going to be. And so you'll come and then after you leave the room, I get to be like, oh my God, I saw them in the show and they just did this thing last week. And they're like, well, their energy was, I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know what that was, but like, I promise I've never seen that. Like, I've never seen them like that before. Like, so I get to be your champion. Yeah. And the other thing is Mickie and I like are very similar in this. Like usually we can tell from the lobby if someone's having a bad day. Like we'll walk up to you because we greet everyone. We're like, hello, how's it going? And then we're like, are like, you good? What's happening here? What's good? And back in the day, if it was welcomed, I would give you a hug and we would like move on from there. Great. But you know, like there's like, we want you to be great. So like, even if you're having your bad day, we're not going to not invite you. We may even ask you how your day, and you don't have to share with us. Like, don't feel like it's pressure. If we're like, whoa, are you okay? Don't feel like because I'm the casting director, you have to like give me your heart because I did not earn that from you at all. But know that I see you as a human. We are not robots. We are here and we see your emotions. They are valid. And I mean, the truth is when you get to set and it's a bad day, like that can't be an excuse to not do your job. And they're going to be a lot less kind. Or when you get to the show and you have a bad day, like that can't be an excuse not to do your job. Like, so I'm not inviting an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's a valid reason. But like, again, it's like the stage fright. Figure out how can you channel that performance then through, not channel it through, but how can you transform that energy from bad to like something that can push you forward, be a motor.
Great. You guys, that was awesome. So I guess, you know, no one's perfect.
No.
Let's see. Mark Westbrook, he's a coach and acting studio director in Scotland. He says the number one secret to building self-confidence or actor confidence is to change the story you are telling yourself. Would you guys say that that's true in terms of actors, in terms of like how they think about things? Can you see the mind start going, and then are you having to work to undo it, or when they're in that space in your room, are you just kind of like, okay, nothing I can do here?
I mean, there's always something to be done, I think. I love playing in the room, even for like the smallest whatever. Like there's always something else we can do different to see different colors and excitement. But yeah, I mean, change the story you tell yourself. That's a powerful quote. And I think it kind of attaches to the question we got before, where, you know, she said she saw herself on the screen, or they said they saw themselves on the screen and they were like, oh, I don't like that. Now I'm not coming back. One, that's not your decision to make. That's someone else's decision. And I think the story, I mean, even myself as a Black man that is not skinny or fit by any means, I think that it's easy to tell myself the story of like, oh, the world of this is a fickle world that will never accept me. And in fact, I did. And that's how I ended up doing a lot of administrative stuff, because I was like, I'll never make it as an actor. No one's going to cast me. But like, then you have to change that. I have to be like, oh, wait, no, like there's definitely a space for me. And if there isn't a space for me, I can make that space for myself. And you just have to keep pushing. Because like I said, you don't get to tell yourself that you don't get the job. That's someone else's job. So yeah, change that narrative. Tell yourself that you are worthy, and that's how people will see you.
Great, thank you, Nik. Donna or Mickie, can you talk about the fine line between confidence and arrogance?
Ooh, I think Mickie and I have probably talked about this before. I think it goes back to, I love that Nik and Mickie both keep bringing up energy. I think it's about your energy. And I just, you know the difference as a human being. When you meet somebody at a party, you're like, oh, look at that super together, confident person, or, oh, woof, no thanks. So I just think that, I think it's how you carry yourself. I think it's about being a human first and worrying about being an actor later. When you walk into the room, you're humans in a situation with other humans, and you're all there for the common goal of being successful right now in this moment. So I think being kind, being polite, being professional are all the things that you can do to be confident without being, you can certainly think inside and believe when you walk in, this is my job and I'm here to claim it. Mm-hmm. But that's inside. It's like you're not walking in front of them and doing your vocal warm-ups. You're doing your brain stuff outside before you walk into the room too, so that when you walk in your head, you're there, you're grounded, you're in the moment, you're doing the work. So there's no room for you to be an asshole, hopefully then. Mick?
I agree with that 1,000%. Yeah, I think it's less, I think that's another form of sabotage, right? If you seem defensive or you seem unwilling to hear. I encourage everyone to understand that everybody in my room is super nervous, right? Because we've got a really major problem on our hands. If out of the 7 people we choose to bring in, nobody wants to take our offer from us. So I think sometimes that will reveal itself when you're given direction. I think sometimes I give direction to an actor and it's like, well, you just pooped on the gift I gave you. Like I just gave you of myself and now you're trying to, and I'm like, oh gosh, no. But like my director, she's going to want to see a couple different things, and this doesn't exist for us yet, so let's play. But I think that's sometimes where that defensive, because you guys have worked hard, not just for this, but you've done theater and you've done workshops and you've trained, and so you come in with kind of this arsenal, and then people want to start kind of messing with it. It's, again, I keep saying it, but it's as a teammate that we mess with you. Same for my clients, but my directors are nervous some of the time, and so they're looking for you, right, to signify that what she just said makes sense to you, that you can hear a note and take it and pivot, and it doesn't detract from everything you brought in. It's just like a little icing on the cake.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This is from Sheila O. If an actor feels like they've fallen out of the rotation, I guess either with casting or with agents, what can they do to help themselves to get back on top of the pile or top of the mind?
That's not a thing. Falling out of the rotation, I don't feel like is really a thing. I mean, sometimes specs tend to come in waves. It's really funny. Like all of a sudden we're only looking for guys this age or women this age. And it's weird that it falls out like that sometimes. So an actor might feel like, oh gosh, last month I had this many auditions, and this month I only have this many auditions. And if there's a real problem, like for the last 10 months on a regular basis, you've auditioned at all of the casting offices, and now that is completely dried up, then there's maybe a situation where you could say to your agent, I feel like, have you gotten any feedback? Can you explore this for me? And we're always happy to make a phone call to casting and be like, hey, you haven't seen so-and-so in a while. Is there a reason? And then be prepared, because I'm going to tell you the reason when I get it.
Yeah, great.
But we're not going to figure it out. If there is a reason, then you have to know the reason, or we can't figure out how to rewind and start the new approach or take care of whatever the thing is.
Yeah, and take the feedback, you guys. Take it all in.
I will say this, Adria, theater goes a long way for us. It is a way to showcase another dimension. It's a way for you to let me see you in another world, in an environment maybe I didn't picture you. We see a ton of theater, but that is, and I don't say it lightly. I know the time involved, and it's for very little financial remuneration most of the time, so I don't say it lightly, but it's a great way to kind of expand our visual on you.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Patrick B, he asks, have you ever found an actor self-sabotages by over-preparing?
You know, it's kind of the thing Mickie was talking about earlier about like you get a note and you're like, whoa, how dare you poop on my beautiful audition? And a lot of times it's not us pooping your audition, it's that like next week when you're going to be booked to shoot that role on set, we need to make sure that if someone gives you a direction that you can like keep moving. So sometimes I think you want to be very familiar with your material so you're not like doing this the whole time that you're auditioning. And so that you know the story you're telling, but that's the thing that I think is important, is making sure that you always remind yourself that you are a storyteller before you are a performer. So don't go and workshop some amazing performance of this piece. You should know the story you're telling very well and be able to like hit those points in the conversation or in the monologue or in whatever it is. So that if you get a direction and you're not like so performed and rehearsed that we need to like keep like breaking it down and being like, what if you think of it this way? Or which like is a blast. Like we love working with actors, but like on a tight schedule, and some offices won't give you that chance. So like I said, again, like just know the story, know your performance you're gonna go in with. You should definitely do whatever you've performed at home, but then like be flexible enough that if we toss something at you, even if it is just a test, that like we can see that you're able to shift and keep telling that same story.
Great. Christy A asks, is it acceptable to mention to casting prior to your read that you have received the sides only hours prior to the audition? Will it be frowned upon to keep the sides in your hand during the read? Is it better to just decline the audition or ask to submit a self-tape in case you haven't had the time to properly prepare?
Nobody had the time to properly prepare. Everybody got those materials when you got those materials, and casting already knows that. So when you go in and you say, my agent didn't get these to me until 9 o'clock last night, they know, because they were put in a position where they weren't able to get it out until then to us, and we're all working together to get it to you as fast as we humanly can. So that's a self-sabotager right there, to walk in and say it, because casting is the one that got those things out to you, so they know when you got it. Sorry, casting.
That's great. I was about to say, we sent the emails. We know when you got the sides. Well, and it's, I mean, we are not hiring you to be a memorizer. I like Mickie said this thing, and I steal it. I hope that if I pay you $1,000 that you'd be able to learn the lines like the next day. Like I'm not concerned about you learning your lines. It's telling the story. Like I want to meet the person. I want to see you do the thing. And holding is totally cool, especially in theater. I think I've never heard a theater director that's like, how dare you not hold. In fact, some of them I think prefer you to hold them, make sure you get the words right so they're not tripping in their minds. And then on camera, like it's usually like this is the frame. So like I can have the sides with me here and like take a peek every once in a while and come back to where I am, and it's totally cool. Like you're not going to be distracted by that. So no, don't cancel the audition. And you can tell me you got them an hour ago, but that's again one of those landmines that Mickie was talking about. Like you've put us in a position where you're like, the reason this audition isn't going to be great is because I just got these sides, so bear with me. And it's like, well, okay, I had to put this job in after, so, but I still have to bring in the best actors, and you're one of them. So don't tell me that on the way in. Just do your thing.
Yeah, it's exactly just like saying, I'm not going to book this. But
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mickie, if I know myself, oh wait, this is anonymous. Nobody wants their name. Okay. Oh yeah, they were there last week. Anonymous attendee. If I know about myself that I need to get through one nervous take, if I need to get it out of my system before I can deliver a great one, is it okay to tell you that in the room?
Okay, here's why totally understand it. And in my room, not a problem, as long as it's just me. The problem is when it's a callback and a director meet, they might not have the wherewithal to give you a second take. So I would encourage you to take the time in the lobby. You know, lobbies are this beautiful place in Chicago because we're all family. And so there's like this reunion mentality in the lobby. There's like a joyfulness to our lobbies, but it sometimes detracts from people's prep time. So if you know your first one that you vomit out is sometimes not where you want to be, go to a corner of my lobby or go into the hallway or go into a stall and spit that one out so that you've wrapped your mouth around the words one time out loud. But I beg you, don't come in with that mindset. And it's okay, like I said initially, to let me know that a couple times, but that will not be okay long-term. And it will not be okay with my clients, because on set, right, where each shot is costing a lot of money and where you're with another actor that needs to get something from you, that will not be okay with them. And you shouldn't want it to be okay with them, just like you want the best from the partner that you're working with.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally get it.
Okay, great. Keith K, I had a callback for one of the Chicago shows and I was the first one seen. After performing the scene once, the director gave an adjustment. The producer, I believe that's who they were by the way they carried themselves, also gave me an adjustment, which was counter to what the director gave. I went with the producer. Is there a better way to handle this? So I didn't want to offend anyone.
That's a good question.
So at that point, I am your touchstone. So Nick is your touchstone. So when that happens, you are within your rights to look to us as your teammate in the room and say, so I got this and I got this. Do you want me to meet somewhere in the middle? Which one do you want me to start with? Like, use me as your ally. I will ask for clarification. Again, everybody's nervous in the room. My producers, my director, everybody's got some weight attached to this audition. So let me be the clarifier for you. I will take that for you. What I beg you not to do is don't launch yourself with a question in your head, right? Don't go. And then half the audition is present and half of your human beingness is on what I got 2 notes. I don't know which one I'm saying, because I will read that and it will read as something that you don't want it to read as. So a lot of the times people are just trying to see that you can pivot. If the casting director is not in a position or a space to help you out, pick the one that feels the most organic and authentic to you, that you can pivot the best with, and go 100% with that one.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and it's also, just to jump on that for a second, it's just like Mickie said, like everyone's nervous. There is no smartest person in the room. So like, and a lot of times in those situations, the producers and directors, they may have been emailing for a while, but they're just meeting for the first time. So they may not even be aligned on like what this character is or like what they're really good. So they may straight up have 2 completely different opinions. And so it is cool at that moment, like Mickie said, to look to us and be like, help, and we've already met you. Like that's why the initial meeting with us is so cool, because like we brought you in, like now we get to show you to our clients, and we keep the familiar face. Like we don't put a different person that wasn't in the initial audition room with you, or someone that you don't know, that you're like, who's running this session now? Like it's always so that you feel that you are taken care of in the room by the known source.
Great. Okay, Sean Sharma, who's an acting coach and session director in LA, says, I thought this was kind of cool. Any one of us could get hit by a bus tomorrow. How would you approach your next acting opportunity if you knew it was the last one you'd ever have? I just thought that was neat for us as actors to think about, you guys. Like, think about, you only have 1 audition left. If you treated everyone, if you could, like that, the energy behind it would be amazing. What do you guys think about that?
I think that is a great commentary on how high you make the stakes of each opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think it's super important for each actor to treat each opportunity as if it is of the utmost importance. However, they have to be able to shake it off, because otherwise there'd be actors walking around carrying around the regret of all the things that might have been. Yes. And then you are blocking your energy up for the thing that is meant for you, that's coming for you, that just hasn't been your thing yet. So I think that's a great quote in terms of thinking about, you want to be your best, you want to show up, you want to be on time in that moment, you want to be connected, and you want to do your absolute best. But then you also have to be able to leave it in the room and go on to the next thing, and know that if that was meant for you, it's coming back for you. I see it happen all the time. And I watch actors all the time that the minute that they start to sort of open up their mind to, well, that one wasn't for me, but the next one might be, and now I'm going to shake this one off so that I can bring the energy of the thing that is for me into that room with me next time. So yes, it should be that important, but then you got to drop it.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. I've got a question from Whitney M. I've largely shifted my focus from theater to TV film, but now I wonder how to extrovert my talent. How can I connect to casting offices without having a live show to invite them to? I have an agent. Adria, you look good in your PJ. Oh, thank you, Whitney. But so, yeah, how can she get on your radar if she's not in a play? On anybody's, I mean, I guess, you know, film work, indie film work, invitations to those. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, if you have clips, that's cool. This is not required. I'm to stress that this is not required, but it happens sometimes. People show up at the office with snacks, and then and then we eat them, and then we know that person because they brought us cookies. So like I said, yeah, not a required thing. I am not pushing for, especially in COVID. I actually don't want your cookies. I don't know where they came from.
Oh my God.
But like
homemade baked goods.
But yeah, I mean, anything you have is useful, and it's kind of like what we were saying earlier about staying in touch, but not like poking too much. Don't email me every day with like your new episode of your webisode and you're like all the stuff. But like if something happens 1 month and you're like, oh, this thing is super cool, I would like to share that with them. Or like you get a callback you're super proud of. Like if you got a final callback to some show in New York and you're like, and you don't have an agent, and you can email us and be like, yo, like I'm looking for representation, but I don't have any, so I reach out to your casting office. I just had this callback and I'm trying to get into more space. Like, how do I, like, the other thing, sorry, I'm like, okay. So our jobs are super cool and exciting. I love what we do. And we get to be in this cool space where our passion and our art and our love and our creativity is also our work. So I don't like the idea that we attach being employed in a thing to working, because as I said before, we're always working. The audition is your job. You meeting someone is a job. Like when you're in the entertainment industry, like unfortunately going to a show is your job. Like those are all ways to be seen, ways to be a face in the community, ways to even if you pop up in a bunch of Facebook pictures, I'm like, that person is beautiful. Who are they? Like, and then I may be doing this show at some point and I'm like, well, are they an actor? And then like, I may do a little creep and be like, okay, like I found you. And people are like, how did you find me? And it's like, you don't want me to go down that path. But like, you know, like how can you stay present and be active in the conversation of our world? I think it's like, it's so much more than me. I mean, knowing your work is clearly important, but it's also about like just keeping your face around and not being annoying, but being not relevant. I hate the word relevant, but like just staying active, being around and being in the community, seeing shows, watching the shows on TV, knowing what offices are casting what shows, just like being in the know, like keep doing your homework so that when you do get to be in our face, you're not a show off, but you're like, we know that you want this and that you've studied.
Great. Oh, maybe this is for Donna and maybe Mickie too. How often this is anonymous attendee again. How often do agents pitch talent for a role, especially someone who the casting director hasn't seen for an episodic in a while? Yeah, I get this a lot too from clients. Like, my agent says they submitted me, but what's that ratio, Donna? Like, how often will you get on the phone to Mickie and be like, they gotta see this person versus just submit?
When it's really perfect. Because we also have to make sure, agents and managers always have to make sure that we're maintaining that we're not caught. I can't believe that all of my clients could book the job, right? So probably if it's a big deal, maybe there's a handful where I'm like 100% you could really book this job. And when it's that clear and evident, then I think the phone call is made to say, here's what I am thinking. I'm wondering if you guys are if you're thinking that, because I would never tell casting how to do their job. Definitely would take an opportunity to have a conversation if maybe they say to me, we don't really see that actor that way. Maybe there's a chance there to have a conversation. We're going back to where I say, did you see this play? Did you see their stand-up show? Did you see their improv show? Can I send you a clip? You don't know them well enough, but I saw them do a thing, and let me get it to you to convince you. Or do you guys have a minute that you could pre-read? Or, because I always would ask the question, am I able to, if you don't feel strong enough to bring them in, could I bring them in here and tape them and send it to you? But I think oftentimes if casting has the time, they would much rather be able to do the pre-read so they can do it. But it might come all the way down to me saying to casting, may I put them on tape for you and send that to you and see if that makes you want to see the thing that you don't know that they have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also I think it's about our relationships and our reputation for our taste, and whether or not Mickie and Nik trust when an agent calls them and says, you have to see, if you've got a good relationship with that office and you guys work together well, probably they're going to see the person that you're recommending, because you are not doing it with every single person and you're not trying to push people on them that aren't going to book the role.
This is from Drew M. Will you ever bring someone in for a TV show if you haven't seen them in a theater show? Also, do you expect an actor who invited you to their show to be the lead or supporting in that show? What do you think, Mickie?
We meet people all the time that I haven't seen in shows. We meet a lot of people through shows, but we meet a lot of people through showcases, through classes, through self-submissions, through word of mouth. I trust my community. I trust the industry that I'm privileged enough to play with. So I have, again, very different from LA. Chicago actors will let me know who I should be seeing for a particular role, even if it is the role they are currently auditioning for. So I will have actors in my room all the time say, you need to see Adria, and I will say, awesome sauce, I would be happy to. So I do find ways to see people all the time, not through theater.
Well, and also like on that, the Chicago, like we've literally had people come into our office and be like, do you know this person? You should meet this person. Like here's their headshot and resume. And then we've met that person and we fall in love with that person, and they're in our office all the time. So it's, there are ways to like I said, keep yourself around, like, and even like, don't tell all your friends when you go into this office, you should tell them about me. But like, there are ways to make sure that you're engaging with folks so that they want to keep talking about you and be like, oh man, like I've never been in that office. Like there are ways in the conversation to sneak in, like, oh, I've never been to PR. Like, how do I get to know them? Like that. And if you are friends with one of our interns, I've gotten Facebook messages from an intern in the past. It's like, hi, like my friend was, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Like no promises, but like totally give them my email, like whatever. And I'm totally cool to say, hello, I know this person. And if you're great for something, to be like, hey, this person emailed me and they were a friend of this intern. Do we have spot for them on the list? And we will absolutely bring those people. Like it happens all the time. So yeah.
But also to take control of your own self in terms of like, find out what offices are doing what shows. You loved Fargo. Hell, let me know you dig Fargo. Let me know you dig Shameless. Everybody likes to be told that what they're working on matters or is of interest to somebody. Nobody does that. So if you let me know you have a particular interest in something that I'm working on, it goes such a long way. I mean, people, ask if they can come in for Chicago Fire all the time through my office. God bless you. I'd love for you to, can't help you. So pay attention to what offices are doing what shows. And if you have an interest in doing one of those shows, let the casting director know.
Awesome. You guys, every casting office is so different, aren't they? So it's good to know how different offices work.
We are, but I will say this, and I'll go to the mat with anybody who disagrees with me. Different offices might have different feelings in the room or different environments or different ways of communicating, I assure you, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We are all offering the same. So however you read a room or a situation or a conversation, at the end of the day, the want is exact. So I urge you, instead of thinking like, oh, everything's different or this felt that, end of the day, we all want to be teammates with you. We just have different ways of communicating that. So, and Chicago is rich with good casting directors right now who all want the same thing.
Yeah, it's a great time to be an actor in Chicago. Even, I know we're in the pandemic and things are slow, but it's going to pick up again, you guys. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly remind everybody, we've got just a few minutes left here, that this talk is going to be available to listen to later on ASC's webinar page and also on ASC's Facebook. So you can catch it then and listen to it later. I have a game. I want to end with a game like I did last time. This is a different game. But before we do the silly game, are there any parting thoughts you guys want to leave with everybody?
Keep on keeping on. You got to stay positive. You have to remember to breathe in any of these situations. Stop, breathe, really breathe, connect yourself to the moment, ground yourself, go in the room to do what you went there to do, and then get on with your life until the next thing comes along.
Great. Nick? Any
You're
lasting?
all awesome. Thanks for being here. I think that now, since unfortunately you can't come into the room with us and you have to send in a lot of self-tapes, now is the best time to really talk down that sabotage monster that will because you have to make the choice now. So I think like take this moment as like a time to really do your work and like build your confidence in your own work. Because you have to because you got to send it to your agent or send it to whoever, because that's who you got right now. So yeah, like be strong in this moment, because we got this. And the reason that we're so great, and Station 11 said that artists survive. So we got this, y'all.
Okay, great. Mickey?
Yeah, I start crying when I talk about this stuff, but I miss everybody a great deal, and I am very eager to be a teammate again to all of you. So I hope that that I get the opportunity to do that soon.
You guys, that's awesome, right? You guys, it's great. Okay, so we're gonna play the super important true or false game. Super important true or false game. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes.
True or false? Mickey used to work as a funnel cake maker. True or false?
I don't know the answer to this, but I feel like it's so specific. It has to be true.
But I feel like it's false, because there's no way I wouldn't know this information already.
Mickey?
It is true. I have been scalded by hot oil for several seasons of Great America.
There you go. Okay, true or false? Donna does stand-up comedy.
True.
I hope so. Yes, true.
Donna?
Did.
You
yes,
did. You
I
did.
Donna is one of the funniest people I know. I saw her on stage in Judy Blume like 10. I've never forgotten her. She's talented as hell.
You just made me cry.
Oh.
That's it. I'm going back to acting. You all heard it here.
No. True or false? Nick only sings in the shower.
False.
False.
Yeah.
That beautiful voice. Always, he should use it more.
Yes. This one is really important. I really stressed out about this. True or false? Mickey's dog is named Lil Poo Poo.
False.
False.
It's Penny.
Penny.
Oh, we love Penny.
Come on. Okay. True or false? Donna is a natural redhead.
I mean, that's a great question, everybody.
True.
True?
Donna.
We're going to go with yes.
Yay!
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, sure.
Okay. True or false? One of Nick's special skills is sweating.
True. It's also one of mine.
Special skill? He's very good at it. True.
Yeah, I have it on my special skills twice.
Yes, you do. That's how I
It's a
found it.
typo, but then I thought it was funny. So I kept it.
Okay, true or false for each of you? You love and you just can't get enough of actors.
Bro.
True.
Bro.
Okay, great. Yes, you guys hear that? They all want us to do well and everything. It's really pretty neat. Thank you to our guests tonight. Thank you all of you out there that are listening. Your support means a lot. I'm just going to give a huge shout out to all the staff and faculty at ASC who are killing it right now. To Rachel Patterson, who's courageously leading us into new territory, and to her son Livio for helping to make all of this possible. You guys, that is a wrap. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.